Okay, welcome to your first calculus lesson. As we get started here, I just want to note that you should have a piece of paper like this in front of you, and you should be noting key points as you go. At any point, just stop or pause the recording here so that you can get the information that you need. Today, we're just going to learn a different way to do the same thing. In years past, we have looked at putting the answers down for questions on a number line or in something called set notation, which looks like these things, which I'm revealing to you right now. And you've seen them before when we talked about quadratic functions and where is the graph greater than 0 and less than 0. And what we're going to do today is just a different way to write that. And I think it's a simpler way to write that. And that is something called interval notation. The basic idea behind interval notation is that we replace less than or equal to or greater than or with brackets, and the brackets will tell us whether it's equal to or not. So in this case, if we look at the first one, x is between a and b, including a and b. To note our endpoints, we put two different values inside the brackets. A is the left endpoint, b is the right, and the square brackets indicate equal to. So the interval is between a and b, including a and b. Whereas in the next one, you'll see there's a round bracket, which means that it doesn't include a, but it doesn't include b. So the brackets simply tell you whether it's equal to or not. And if you look at one with numbers, same situation. X is greater than -2 but not equal to. Therefore, we have what's called an open interval. And the square bracket we call an enclosed interval, or equal to or not equal to. They mean the same thing. If we have an interval that goes on forever, such as x is less than or probably should say greater than if we're going to the right, but I have my answers mixed up here. You'll just have to bear with me. If I can find it, there she is. This should say right here, anyways, this should say x is greater than 5. Then we're talking about the interval greater than 5, not including 5. And to indicate forever to the right, we would put infinity. You will also have questions where your answers will be all numbers, which we've said before is the set of real numbers. We can write that as such using negative infinity and infinity. The important thing you need to remember is that the intervals are always open. It doesn't equal infinity because you can't. It's a theory. It's not a real thing. It's just an idea. So today we're going to deal with questions where you have overlapping intervals, and we're going to be reintroduced to two math symbols. One is the symbol and, which refers to a intersection between two things. So you might want to write those words down. We have and, which means intersection. And then the next question we'll have or, which leads to the union, or the inclusion of all values. So if you want to use number lines to help you, that's the way I like to do these questions. So I'll start off by graphing the first interval from -4 to 3. And at -4 it's open, at 3 it's closed. And that would be graphed as such. Then we have from 2 to infinity. So from 2, including 2, nope, not including 2, it's a round bracket. It's open to infinity. And what and is referring to is the intersection between the two. So what values are included in both? And I would say that's from 2, not including 2, to 3, including 3. That is the interval that is included in both. So when we write that as interval notation, that means we're going to be using set notation. So our solution set is set of all numbers x which belong to the interval from 2 to 3, not including 2, but including 3. So that combines our set notation, which is your braces and your x, with interval notation, which is your square and round brackets. Next question is an or question, so that means values that are in either one or the other. So if I start at -2, go to 4, and they're both open, so I should have open circles. And the next one starts at 0, including 0, and then goes to 6, including 6. So now the question is which interval would include all answers, and that would be from -2 to 6. So if I graph that, we would then write it using set notation combined with interval notation. Doesn't include 2, open bracket, does include 6, square bracket, and we're done. So just make sure you know what the big idea here is and that you have that down and bring that to class, and we'll be good to do an assignment for tomorrow. See you then.